So the topic of today's session is to freelance or not to freelance. Something that comes up a lot in the events industry, as it is an industry that's very heavily reliant on self-employed staff. So here are just a couple of photos. I thought it'd be nice to just give a bit of context and show some of the epic events that I've been involved in over the last few years. So from a festival in Croatia, Outlook and Dimensions, to one in Costa Rica. I think this was at a ski event. I've done a little bit of touring briefly as well. This one, you might be wondering what the hell that is. That is the Operation London Bridge. That was the funeral, the royal funeral that took place last year. I've also done a lot of very varied positions, roles, events. I've tried very hard to say yes to every opportunity I can, make the most, learn new things, and have definitely embraced the variety in the roles and the events, and have always tried to do as many abroad as I can because I love to travel as well. Ask questions to yourself. So, is freelancing really for me? What are my current commitments, whether that's financial, whether that's personal? Can I live with the uncertainty? Do I have the right and big enough client base? Am I prepared to put in the work? Am I doing it for the right reasons? In Japan, they have words for so many amazing things. So one of the concepts, if you aren't already familiar, is ikigai. So it literally translates to your reason for being. So I really love this diagram because I think it explains it really well. It's a combination of doing what you love, what the world needs, what you can be paid for, and what you're good at. Personally, I do love having the flexibility and the autonomy. It's something that I briefly touched upon earlier, but it sometimes can take time to get to a point where you have that flexibility. The second one being working with clients that you love and organizations that you choose to work with. One of the things that I absolutely always love as well is learning new things, just learning, doing new things, working with different teams. Of course, there are some cons as well. So there's a lot of uncertainty around being self-employed. I thrive on that. It's not for everyone. I love challenge. I love being challenged. So for me, the uncertainty is opportunity. You do end up working hard at longer hours, and the misconception again can be around you get to work less as freelance, but because you're always looking for the next opportunity, and you do need to do a little bit more to familiarize yourself with the system or the team or the company, you will end up taking longer to do things. If I was to say to a friend who doesn't work in the events industry, well, I'm on say £250 a day or £300 a day, and they'd say that's huge amounts of money, you're rich, you're balling, but the reality is they don't see all of those sort of hidden costs. I have to pay taxes on that, and it just goes on and on, really. One of my favorite tips is, and I'll show it a little bit later, but consider doing a portfolio website. So that's a really nice way to, because it's so hard cramming on an A4 traditional CV, especially when you've been doing it for, say, 10 years, trying to get 10 years worth of experience without looking messy, overcrowded, and without deleting things. Because I got to the point with my CV where I just started deleting things. I thought, well, actually, that's such a shame, because I don't want to delete it. I want to show that I've done all of those different roles, because I think there's a lot of value in versatility. And this is one of my favorite tips. I use an Excel spreadsheet rather than a traditional Word document to list all of my different experiences. So it looks like this. And as an example, actually, by the way, I have these all templated. So go find me on LinkedIn and drop me a DM if you would like me to send you my template. I am not a gatekeeper. Sharing is caring. So please drop me a DM and just write freelance template, and I will send you the template. So as you can see, I've listed I don't go into too much depth about the role because I think everyone knows what a stage manager is, or a project manager, or producer. So in there, I just put a couple of little details. I was at that stage. This was the capacity, or just a little bit of an outline in there. Tip number 2. Again, if you want this template, just drop me a DM on LinkedIn and just say availability calendar. So I've actually just hidden the row, but you can leave it or you can hide it, whatever works for you. Is like, I would have put the name of the event. So say I would have put, I don't know, conference, festival, whatever the event was, I'd put the name, I'd show it. I think there's no right or wrong. Like sometimes I think I don't really want everyone to know where I'm working, but then sometimes I think there's a lot of value in them seeing, oh wow, she's on site, you know, for 3 weeks with that show. That's a really, like, if I landed Glastonbury, I definitely want to show that it's upcoming and booked in. My third tip would be use a CRM. So I've just put in some like examples here. Treat your self-employment like a business. That I always highlighted them in yellow as well. So if someone hadn't paid me, it was highlighted in yellow, and then I would unhighlight it when it's paid, so I could see at the glance of an eye who hadn't paid me, and then I'd like move it along. So a couple of tips, just some little nuggets here. Make a CRM, keep a record of everything. Don't and do it from day one. Ask for help. Don't be afraid to reach out. I think there are lots of really supportive people in this industry. One of the things that I love, and of course through what I do with NOWIE, I'm very, very passionate about networking events, industry events. Get yourself out there. I think this also works for people that are employed or self-employed, really, is get out there, get your name out there. Just people will start to see your face. We're a people first industry. My favorite topic to talk about is NOWIE. I'm very, very passionate about the Network of Women Events. So it's a non-profit organisation. Everything we do is driven by the community and it's for the community. So we want to make it as accessible as possible to our members. And we have our 3 pillars, which are networking, job opportunities, and increasing representation. So everything we do tries to come within those pillars. We do networking events. We have notably a mentorship program that some of you might be aware of already. If you're not and you don't know NOWIE, get involved. It's free. It's a really beautiful, wonderful, inspiring community to be part of.